Got a 79 Super Reverb here on the bench, and it had already been recapped and recapped well. Had some bad chassis ground connections down at the power transformer end. Those have all been redone to chassis. And it had a very badly matched pair of output tubes, which had a massive hum. Take it out of standby. It's got some Sovtech Coinbase 6L6s I had, 5881s I had handy. They're not perfectly matched. There's a little bit of hum in the output as well, but they're better than it was. The old ones sound like they're about to start red plating. If I turn up the normal, let's turn up the reverb channel volume first. That's all pretty good. If I turn up the normal channel volume, hear that hum? That'll go away if I press on the input jack tip. That jack is not normaling. So we put it in standby, and let's see if that is a issue where the metal of the, if that is an issue where the metal of the jack has become fatigued and the jack needs to be replaced, or whether there's just some dirt or corrosion there preventing it from making good full contact and grounding out. So I've got a guitar cable in place. I'll give a little squirt of deoxit right there where the shunt meets the tip. Go back and forth a few times. That seems to have done the trick. Let's see how this one's doing. That's with the volume on 10 on the channel, by the way. I think this one needs a little bit of cleaning too. I think someone just hasn't used this channel in a really long time. And so, sorry about the mic stand. It's just kind of in the way. I think they just haven't been used in too long. And corrosion builds up. Do the same thing for the jacks here, though they have been used more frequently. Probably still has a little bit of corrosion or dirt in those areas. Little things like this make a huge difference. All right. Now I've got this going into my test cab, and I've got a real mic. Well, I've got a real mic on it, but the mic just slipped down on the stand. Let me take care of that real quick. You know, it's that thing where your mic just goes. It's a good Atlas boom, and it's tight as can be, but it still just wants to slip. Okay, so there's a little bit of hum in the output there still. That's the mismatched 6L6s, I think. It's there regardless of whether the phase inverter is in place. And I have not measured any big ripple on the output. So I think it's just mismatched power tubes. They're idling about, I don't actually know. I haven't measured them since I put these in. The old ones, which were badly mismatched, were at 60% and 32%. I put in these, I turned the bias a little bit cooler still. I'd rather have this thing down in the 30s until I get the real 6L6s in. But this will be enough to tell us how things are sounding. So let's go to the normal channel. The pots were really scratchy. I've cleaned those off. Real dark. And I thought I had everything at noon there. Some of these later 70s use the wrong value pots, and you don't get a really nice response the way you do on the 60s. Yeah, it's just I bet if I turn the treble up a little bit and the bass down a little bit, let's back off on the mids a bit. That's better. Nothing bad on the tube there. That's good. So let's go to the vibrato channel. So I'm just putting that polystyrene cap instead of the old ceramic. Hopefully it'll be good. Let's take that off right now. Yeah, this era often has crazy high bass taper. So you don't want it anywhere near noon. That sounds pretty good. Let me move the mic down a little bit. Not the mic, the camera. Show you this end. I'm not winning any video awards today. Someone had put in a really cheap switch here that was just a defeat for the tremolo circuit, and the owner wanted the master put back. I didn't do the push-pull nonsense. I just did a straight master volume. And so that all works. The tremolo should be working. So that's all good. Let me hook up a reverb tank and we'll see. I'm hearing a little bit of gronk in that. And if you look at the circuit board, let me make sure the camera is seeing what I want to show you. Just hearing a little bit of yuck. And I think it's the reverb return that I'm hearing it in. All these plate resistors have already been changed out for carbon films. They've got original slope resistors, but the plates are changed out. Here, though, and this is the reverb recovery stage, and then the reverb mixer. Those are still the original 1 watt carbon films, and in '79, this would have had a lot of wax on it. I imagine that these are the problem. So I'm going to change those out real fast, and we'll see if that reverb yuck goes away. It's minor, but I sure heard it. All right, here's a great example of the problem, one of the problems the post-73s have with all the wax. This is the B plus connection. This is where the high voltage is, then individual plate connections. And so it's supposed to be a 100K resistor from this point to this point, and then this capacitor is connected to this point, goes to here, and that's actually the coupling cap which feeds the reverb level pot. there's wax on the board beneath each resistor. And the wax on this resistor has puddled from this eyelet, though it's partially melted away now that I heated that up, to right here. And what happens is this wax over time absorbs so many contaminants from the air that it becomes conductive. So instead of having a resistance from here to here and then connecting to this wire, there's actually a path to this wire which just bypasses the resistor. Throws everything off. You get all kinds of yuck. And if I can find my little flathead screwdriver, I'll show you the beginnings of the fix. Now, I just want to scrape off as much of that big wax as I can here. Don't want wax on the board. Don't want wax on this component lead. And I certainly don't want the wax bridging them. I'm going to get my heat gun up, heat that area, wipe off the excess. And now that the excess is gone, I'm going to put some new resistors there. And I'm going to use these 1-watt carbon films like are in the rest of the amp. So if this were a 64, I'd measure it precisely. And I'd be using carbon comps and keeping everything vintage. I don't think the 79 Super Reverb is really vintage. It is old, but it is not particularly a sought-after example in the true sense of the word vintage. All right, let's see what that sounds like. I think we're still in Surf City. Much better. I think unless there's something wrong with the speakers or the reverb tank in this, which I actually will check in just a moment, this amp is just a new pair of output tubes and a rebias away from goodness. I guess let me get the cab in here. We'll triple check that real fast. Just that way if I have to order anything else, there's not another long delay because it's been that kind of year. Check out that reverb. That's the tank. If I wiggle on the cables, the reverb gets better and worse, and sometimes it cuts in and out. I don't know if it's tank and cables are bad or if it's just something's dirty. But of more concern, we got bum speakers in this thing. I've got the 57 about 2 feet from the front of the amp, so whichever speaker or speakers are bad, you'll hear it. For comparison, let me switch over to the test cab, and I'll aim the 57 at it, about the same distance. There's a little bit of ragginess still. Though, to be fair, the volume of the amp is at 6.5, and I'm not entirely sold on the output tubes and what's happening there. There are a pair of 3-watt 1 ohm resistors between cathode and ground in this amp that I will probably remove, because owners don't really benefit from them, and real techs don't need them, and it's just another potential point of failure. It's also possible, I just reused the heater balance resistors that were already in the amp. I think I need to replace those with something better match, because I don't think we're getting the best heater cancellation either. There might be some lead dress stuff. The 79s just have so much spaghetti. But all this can be made fantastic. It can be a beautiful sounding amp. It's just not quite there yet. That weird sound is the reverb. So yeah, got a ways to go.